Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin from Florals.com and welcome back to the 2020 Creative Reset series. Today we're talking about setting up a plan and setting ourselves up for success with our different types of goals. Now last episode I covered a bit about planning for a project-based goal, so a specific project that you're working on and making sure you had everything you need to complete it at the forefront, because if you don't start with everything you need, you might end up slipping up along the way. So now we've covered project-based goals, we're going to dive into our time-based goals. Now, a lot of us actually make time-based goals because they seem like the most flexible type of goal. They seem like an easily achievable goal, whether it's 15 minutes a day or an hour a week, or, every day you try to get into your craft room. We all have different types of goals. My time-based goal that I'm focusing on this year is journal on my layouts every month. So this is a once a month type of goal, although I could break it down into, a weekly goal where I journal on my layouts that I finish every week. So there's tons of different ways to go about our goals, obviously. So if you haven't seen the rest of 2020 Creative Reset, I highly recommend going through that. I talk a lot about making your goals and figuring out which type is best for you, because time goals aren't for everyone, project-based goals aren't for everyone, and quantity-based goals aren't for everyone. So it really depends on your personality and how you work about what you can do. So I actually ended up making a goal spread in my bullet journal here. I didn't fill out all my personal ones because I didn't want them all out on the internet, but my crafty ones are pretty much filled in to be all the things that I want to do. I have a couple more that aren't really crafty but also do relate to craftiness that aren't in here, but my top three are up here. So I have my project-based and my time-based and then my more so quantity-based, and that's going to be my main goals. And then I have a couple other ones here, and then I also have tallies for how many layouts I want to make and how many cards I want to make just over the year. So today we're focusing on time-based goals. Now this can be really hard to track. Obviously if you've been in your craft room every single day in a week, but knowing if you've actually spent 15 minutes doing something is a little bit different than just sitting in your room for 15 minutes. So when you're trying to write your time-based goals, make sure there's something attainable. I decided to make mine every month because I know that I travel a lot for work. I might not be here a certain week, and I don't want that to affect my goal just because I'm simply not here one week. So by every month, it gives me the flexibility to schedule it when I want, to break it up smaller if I want, and I'm really focusing on that one for this video. So I've already completed some layouts for this month. I'm going to bring up one, so this is a sneak peek at what one you will see this month, but it is this beauty right here. This was the first layout I created. So when we have time-based goals, usually they're about creating every day or stamping every day or coloring every day or something every so often, so X every Y. And when you're writing these goals, and assuming you might already have some written, really just sit down and evaluate them and say, is this possible? Is it possible that I will have time every month to journal on all the layouts I create? Simple yes or no will suffice, and maybe it's a maybe, because obviously our lives change month to month, and like I mentioned earlier in this series, if you guys realize that you cannot do 12-month based goals, mainly because December is the busiest month of the year for a lot of people, so maybe they're 11-month goals. That's fine. Just make sure you make something that's achievable. So once you do have that narrowed down, and again, the earlier episodes will help you out immensely with figuring out those things, then you actually have to do it and schedule the time for it. And I think that's where we often make a misstep. We have all of these great intentions of doing all these great things every so often or every day or every month or every week, and we miss it. We end up having things overlap. We have life get in the way. We have so many things going on that just end up not working. So if you find that you've done time-based goals before and they're not working for you, one, maybe time-based goals just aren't your thing. That's fine. Two, maybe you did it too broad and you weren't specific enough within your goal. So here in this time, I decided to journal on my layouts every month. So I created this layout this month, no journaling on it whatsoever. I particularly would love to do batch journaling versus individual journaling, because I know some people sit down, do the page. While they're doing the page, they have a lot of memories about it. They have a lot of things come up. They have ideas about what they want to journal about, so they journal on it right then and there. For me, it's more so that I finish the process video, I move on to the next one or move on to the next project because my creative juices are flowing, and I don't want to stop every so often to journal on my layouts. So I took that advice that I had for myself, is to not stop when I'm on a creative roll, to just put them aside, put them all together. The ones that need to be journaled on will get journaled at the end of the month, when I'm not creating, when I'm doing my wrap up, when I'm really just focusing on trying to, you know, wrap up the month, and then I can really put them away once they're journaled on, once they're dated. If one of your struggles might be dating your layouts, I've started to, because that was one of my personal struggles, I've started to date my layouts immediately, because that'll just help me put them away faster, journal on them faster, because I already have the date done. I know the topics of the photos generally because I scrapbooked about them already, and it just helps me go a little bit faster. Now, if you have a time-based goal that is more so just do something every day, just do something every week, maybe it's a layout a week. So that'd be 52 layouts for the year. Now, if you think about it as 52 layouts for the year, that lets you skip weeks. But if you think about it, a layout every week, that's more so compartmentalized than 52 layouts in a year, because that would be a quantity-based goal versus a time-based goal of 1 layout a week. Do we see how we made the switch there? Same exact goal, end goal, 52 layouts, but 1 layout a week is different than 52 layouts in a year, because we have that time base there. 52 in a year is more of a quantity base because it's such a long-term goal. So say you're happy with your time-based goal. I'm happy with mine so far. Obviously, I haven't had to actually go through with it yet. And I find that the end of a month and the start of the month are not a super busy time for me. So I plan on doing it at the end of the month when all my layouts are complete. But again, I could break it down further and do it, you know, halfway each month. I'll do half layouts. That way I'm more so doing journaling every 2 weeks. But if you have a time-based goal that's not breakable, that's not, you know, something more daily or something more, you know, abstract, what you need to do is make sure you make time for it. This is my planner. I do not schedule them in my planner because this is more of a reference tool as I go throughout my weeks. I have reminders in my phone about journaling. So if you have Google Calendar, if you have iCalendar, if you have an email system calendar that you like. So if I were to take my calendar here and add in something for it. So right now, on this calendar is just my blog stuff, my Patreon stuff, and my YouTube stuff. So I can come down here at the end. So it happens to be Fridays, the last day of January this year. I see that I have a couple things there. So what I'm going to do is actually schedule it for the beginning of the week. That way I can always move it down if this day ends up being busy. So I'm going to add one for the 27th of January. All I have is one video up, so I'm going to add one. It's going to be a reminder. And what's nice is you can do a notification on your phone. I know some people don't like time on their phones, so again, physical planners can work well for you. Just make sure that you are scheduling it accurately and that it's a big deal. Because if you keep letting your hobbies slide, and I understand that these are hobbies, but if you keep letting your hobbies slide, will you ever get to enjoy them the way you want to, you know, actually spend time doing them? So it says, remind me to, I'm going to say journal. Maybe if I could type journal on layouts. And it's not all day, so I'm going to set a time, repeats every month. Just so I have that in there. I don't have to reschedule it. It'll be all set up once I get this done. I'm going to say 7 a.m. No, let's actually do 9 a.m. That way, if it falls on a weekend, that way I can push it back for the afternoon or the evening and put it in my agenda for the day, but at least I'm reminded of it in the morning. So I'm going to click save, and there it is, the 23rd of January. I'll be reminded, and again, I can move this reminder day by day to make sure that I'm keeping up with it as I need to. And this allows flexibility. It doesn't have to happen on the 23rd, but maybe I start it on the 23rd, or I gather my layouts on the 23rd. This is a great way to schedule. Now, if you're doing something that's a little bit more, you know, often than just once a month or once a quarter or, you know, maybe every week, I think some sort of physical representation of doing that task is a great idea. I know some people put their goals up on a whiteboard in their craft room, or they make a little spread, a 12 by 12 scrapbook spread of their goals and hang that up in their craft room just so they can keep themselves accountable. Now, if you have a weekly spread planner, I have mine here, maybe you should take this in and use some pens to color code it. I do color code mine. I'm not going to show you it because I have some other stuff in there. But you can take some color coding, maybe make your important stuff in a red color. I really like these pens from Papermate, the Profile Gel, I think. And make sure that it is apparent of what you need to do. So if it is every day, make sure that you're marking it down as something you need to do every day. Make sure it's there, make sure it's present, and make sure it's visible. Because if you're a scrapbooker, you're probably generally a visual type of person. You like learning visually, you like doing things visually. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you are paper planners or digital planners because you like to see everything laid out. But if your goal is also something that's hard to keep track of, say time, say you want to spend X amount of time. So like 15 minutes a day in your craft room. Doesn't matter what you're doing, you just have to be in there 15 minutes a day. Maybe you should look into getting an app to track those type of times. Now, one app that I'm currently using is called Habit Buddy, and that's in the iTunes store. So you might not be able to find it on Android, I'm not sure. Let me change this so you guys have a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. More accurate. So I have things like stretching, working out, read more books, etc. So I can track time every day that I've put in. So let's see, we can add one in here. So, and this app is completely free. As far as I know, there's nothing you can even buy in it. So I'm going to write 15 minutes creative time. So if that's your goal, I know a lot of people try to be creative every single day. So I can select every day on a repeating schedule. Maybe you do it on a repeating schedule and it's only Monday through Friday or only Saturday and Sunday. You know, it really depends on yours. But what I really like about this is I can do amount tracking. And then ask you for a unit. You could do minutes. Because sometimes we're really busy and we can't simply do all the time in each sit down. So if you can't do 15 minutes right now, but you can do 10 minutes now, 5 minutes later, that would be great. So I'm going to put 15 minutes each time because that's the goal. But, oh wait, I wanted to redo that. I wanted 15 per day. Hold on and I'll reset this up. So I managed to fix that for you guys. So it says 15 minutes creative time. The start date is January 1st, so you can like backlog if you need to. Tracking is in minutes as I labeled it, and then my goal is 15 minutes every day. Target or schedule is one time every day. Now you don't have to have a target. So if I click remove target, there's no target or schedule set, but if your goal is 15 minutes every day, it'll keep track of that. So I can click done, and guess what? You can also set notifications. So you can add multiple notifications to remind you throughout the day, which I think is helpful if you're a person who either has a job on your phone or is on your phone a lot. Maybe you get sucked into YouTube on your phone and you don't want to, you know, spend time watching crafty things when you can also spend time doing crafty things. So I'm gonna click done, and it'll say it right here. So I can go in and check off a day. So I'm going to check off this day, and it asks me how many minutes. So I know that 15 minutes is my goal, but if I click 10. If I add another 5, that would be 15 for that day. So if I go today, so it says last completed was 1-2, which is what I just inserted. So it knows that I actually completed the 15 minutes on the 2nd. Not that I actually did that. Let's pretend I did. I'm not tracking that actual goal. This is just an example. But if I go to today and I add in, so it knows that 5 and 10 are some of my most common times. So I could add in my 15. And it says last completed today, goal reached, completed 15 minutes today. It's just a great way to keep yourself accountable. And if you're someone who goes into your craft room and finds that you can't actually do something in 15 minutes, then maybe you should change your goal. But if you also find that you go to your craft room and you're not actually creating the whole 15 minutes, I would suggest setting a timer. I find timers very motivational, and again, those are within, you know, your phone generally, or on your computer you could set a timer. I know that Janet over at RTDesk does her 15-minute mixers. It's just a great way to sit down, do something, and feel good about it, because that's really the end goal here, is that we feel good about what we're doing and really accomplishing our goals. So if you're trying to create every day, if you're trying to do something time-based, I would recommend this. I have tallies as well for my count goals, so I have 199 200 layouts and 100 cards that I'm trying to track. I have my no spend in here, all sorts of stuff. So definitely check out this app. Again, I'm still trying it out. You might not find it as easy to use as I do, or it might not work for you, but that's just something I use. So as we move forward, the main things here are a couple of things. So if you have a time-based goal, one, reevaluate it. Do time-based goals work for you? Simple as that. Are you good at keeping to time? Are you good at tracking time? If it seems like too much of a hassle, I'm positive you could rewrite it in a different type of format, whether it be project-based or quantity-based. You can probably figure something out within those. But maybe you're also struggling with the fact of scheduling it into your schedule. I completely understand that. Make it a little bit easier on yourself. Maybe make it maybe 2 hours a month. That way you know how many you need. You need to do 30 minutes each week in order to hit 2 hours a month. But they don't have to be in a specific chunk. It doesn't have to be every day, because sometimes you only get Sunday mornings when everyone else is asleep. Sometimes that's how it goes, and we need to realize that and really emphasize that and use those pieces of information to leverage our goals into success, because I promise it's possible. And I know that we're all experiencing different things in life and we're all in different places, but I hope some of these tips help you. Pull out your paper planner, put it in there, put a sticker there to remind you that you deserve time to do your hobbies. You deserve the time to relax and scrapbook or card make or paint or be creative in any way you want. You deserve that time, and that's why I think a lot of people make time-based goals, because we know we want to make time for it, but we just don't, because it's last on the totem pole, let's be honest. Everything we do usually is for ourselves. So put down the chores, make some time, and hopefully you'll find some success at this. But check out the app that I'll have linked down below. Check out my other videos with 2020 Creative Reset. And if you have any questions about your personal time-based goals, feel free to send me a message on Instagram. I'd be happy to help you rewrite them. I find it really fun to rewrite things like that, and discovering your true potential, whether it be time-based, quantity-based, or project-based, is really important for your success. And if this is your first year making goals or trying out some sort of goal system, definitely just give each one a whirl. Like I said, I usually do about one of each type for my main goals, just so I can experiment and see if something else propels me differently as time goes on, because things change, our preferences change, our life experience changes, and our whole sense of scrapbooking changes over the years. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of 2020 Creative Reset. Next time we'll be talking about quantity-based goals, so don't worry, that'll be next week. So you guys can check that out if you also have quantity-based, because I have quantity-based, so we'll definitely relate on that one too. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll have everything linked down below that I've mentioned. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to reach out, guys. I'm just a message away, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. But I love helping people realize their potential and their worth when it comes to craftiness, because it is totally worth it, in my opinion, for the time, for the energy, for the everything. And this is your story. It is your life. And I want you guys to have the time that you want to be able to do it. Obviously, we all wish we could scrapbook all the time, but we can't. We got to make memories too. So I will chat with you guys again very soon, but I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already, because I have some big goals for YouTube this year and some big things coming that you won't want to miss out on. But thank you guys so much for watching again, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.